This is the Archangel 2210 here to give you another video review of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Yes, highly anticipated and highly waited. I finally have the review for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I've just been playing it a lot since I got it, and I have to say I really like this game, and I wanted to really go into every aspect of the game before I gave it like a full review. Now, there is online portion of this game. I can't really talk about that mainly because I'm not in the PlayStation Network, so I really can't review what I haven't played. So I'll basically talk about the basic part of the game. You have roughly 32 characters in your roster. It says over 32 characters. Now they give you a nice array of Capcom and Marvel characters in this game. Now, I am ecstatic that they have my favorite character in this game, Phoenix, aka Jean Grey from the X-Men. So, yeah, I was totally stoked when I found that was like one of the main characters. And I have to say, her fighting abilities, her powers and everything, perfect. It's just how I would have wanted it. And nice touch on when when she gets defeated only when her power gauge is at maximum, which is level 5. If she dies when that's at level 5, then she turns into the Dark Phoenix, and all her powers are like I don't even know exactly how much stronger, but I think it's like a little bit like twice as strong, and it's bigger, and she's just insane, and it's just incredible. So for that alone, I was really happy with this game. I love the character design of all the characters in this game. Um, some people will probably say they didn't like it, but since this game actually it came out a few years after Street Fighter 4 and Super Street Fighter 4, just like a couple years after those two games. It kind of has that same style in, you can hear the rain going on outside. You can hear it has the kind of same format of the character design and the fighting style of Super Street Fighter, and I really like Super Street Fighter 4, which I'll probably do a review of sometime. I'll probably sometime in the future I'll do a review of Super Street Fighter 4. So I really love the character designs. The character designs in this game is really how they should have been in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, because in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 they really went realistic and gritty, and I was thinking when I played this game, I was thinking this is how Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 should have been. Like it's that comic booky feel, but it's like it's just an amazing, like the character models are really big, and arcade mode, it is a little short in my opinion. There's only 6 stages, and then you fight the big boss, which is Galactus. Now Galactus, you don't fight him right away. He summons or conjures 2 people for you to fight. First one, and after a certain point, once you've beaten off the health of that character, like I think a little halfway, then another person pops up. And these characters that he has you fight could be anywhere from Doctor Doom, Dormammu, Akuma, and Wessler, the guy with the long coat and glasses. I forgot his name. So, and he puts them in any combination that he sees fit to, that depending upon what team that you have, how powerful they are. So yeah, that itself will be pretty difficult. And sometimes when I was first playing it, that first portion knocked out like 1 or 2 of my characters, which was really difficult, or at least one of my characters. So fighting Galactus was pretty much a challenge. So there isn't much of an actual story in the game. Like there kind of is, but there kind of isn't, with the whole Galactus coming to Earth and the whole thing. But I kind of feel like there is an actual story mode, like there was with Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. How there was an actual separate story mode, separate from arcade. I thought that that's what they were going to do. Like there was a separate story mode, that Was going to be similar to arcade mode, but it would have had more cutscenes and more story explaining why Galactus was coming to Earth and why you were fighting him. But no. Um, Now the special bonuses that you unlock once you do beat arcade mode with whatever character that you beat them with. Now, even though you could pick a team of 3 characters, but whichever character you lay the last punch to Galactus, that character you unlock their special ending, their model viewer in the gallery, and I think some of their artwork, which is basically the ending. And you can unlock the special sketch of the character by doing their missions. Now, the missions is basically learning their fighting set and, doing all the fighting set. Now, if you at least do the first one of each character, you unlock the sketch of each character, and you can unlock all their artwork. Now, I really like some of the Capcom characters they had. I'll admit I don't really know that much about Capcom other than Street Fighter, and maybe a Devil May Cry video game here or there. I don't really know that much, and I know Beautiful Joe. So, some characters I really didn't know, but they were still pretty fun to play. Like Trish, and they actually give you like a full bio of the character also, which I forgot to mention. A full bio of the character once you beat them with arcade mode. Beat a Galactus with them in arcade mode, you could unlock their full bio, which has a picture of them, their real name, their all their powers, their background, their stats of all their abilities, and when they first had their first appearance. So for the Capcom characters, what video game it was in, and for the Marvel characters, what comic book it was in. Now, another character which was their first appearance in basically, I think, any video game as far as I'm concerned, which was X-23. Now, she is a pretty recent character, a recent addition to the Marvel Universe, and the thing that was kind of upsetting is that in the first appearance, they showed, for her bio, I think, an issue of X-23 or X something, and I was like, she didn't appear in the comics first. She appeared in X-Men Evolution, an episode of X-Men Evolution called X-23, and she was derived from that first, and then she became a character in the comic books. And she actually had a pretty cult following. She's pretty much the Marvel version of like a Harley Quinn, you could kind of think of it, where she originated in the cartoon, and she became a staple in the comic book universe. X-23 was actually, a lot of fun to play. I know some people are probably thinking, oh, what's the point of having X-23? What's the point of having She-Hulk when they're basically the female counterpart of Wolverine and Hulk? When I want to play Wolverine and Hulk, okay, you could. I'm not saying you don't have to play Wolverine and Hulk. Those two are good in their own standpoint, but X-23 and She-Hulk, they have a little more agility, and they're not going to be as strong, but they have a lot more agility, and they're a little bit more fun to play. Hulk, he is like the strongest character, but he moves really slow. Not really slow, but he moves pretty slow. She-Hulk, she moves a little bit faster, and she has more agility, and she does flips and everything. X-23, she moves really fast. She's a lot faster than Wolverine, in my opinion. So that's why I choose X-23 over Wolverine, because she beats him on agility, in my opinion. Now, I would have liked to have, and this is a grievance that I think some other gamers have had with this game, is that it didn't have enough characters. And I know I sound like a broken record at this point when it comes to me video games, and I like to have a lot of characters, but I would like to have a lot of characters with this game. I think they should have at least hit the number 40 with this game. They should have had 20 on one side, 20 on the other side, and it would have been fantastic. Some people would have liked to have Rogue and Gambit in the Marvel side, along with some other great classics, and they would have had some more characters. On the Capcom side, I've actually would have liked to see Cammy. I was kind of upset that she wasn't in this game. It was great to see, a new character that was actually in Super Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 4, Sea Viper or Crimson Viper, who was actually also pretty good to play, and I played her in Super Street Fighter 4. But I still would have liked to also have Cammy on top of that, because Cammy is like the top character I like in Capcom is overall, of course, Chun-Li. She's my favorite girl. She's got a good amount of agility, fighting, and of course she has a good projectile with her energy. And Cammy, she is a really good fighter. Now, I gotta cut this down a little bit because I'm kind of going on and on and on. But all in all, this was a fantastic game. I really, other than the fact that, I would have liked more characters, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks that. I would have really liked to have more characters. Maybe like 10 more on each side. But I have a feeling, and someone else said this too, that since Street Fighter 4, they came out with Street Fighter 4, and just a few months later, they came out with Super Street Fighter 4 with 10 more characters. So who's to say that they might not do the same thing with this? I'm not saying that they may or may not. Who knows? They might come up with Super Marvel vs. Capcom 3 that might have more characters. I also heard that they're probably going to do downloadable characters. I think if you're going to have all the characters that people want, put them in the overall roster to begin with, right out of the box. All in all, I thought this was a great game, high-end adrenaline game, highly anticipated. A novice gamer could just jump in and play. I think this is a really great 9 out of 10. People disagree with me, but I think this is a 9. This is a fantastic game, must have.